Welcome back, everyone. It's FNHusa57 here. We are back on Neverwinter on the Xbox One in Mod 9. And today I have decided to cover pretty much everything about refinement points. What they are, what they do, how to get them, how to farm them, and pretty much all the different kinds of refinement, or at least the majority of them. So really quick, if you are new to the game, like say just starting out on any of the three platforms, PC, Xbox, or just recently Neverwinter has been released on the PlayStation 4, you might be wondering, what are refinement points? What are enchantments and things like that? It's a little bit of a later game, mid to late game feature, but it's a very, very important feature of the game. So bear with me, the first couple minutes I'm just going to go over what refinement points are, and then I'll get into actually how you get them. So refinement points are what you need. Once you reach maximum level, you're going to get artifact gear. Main hand, offhand, waist, neck, basically those four pieces are your artifact gear. They start off at green, and then you refine them through the course of going up through, feed them refinement, and then they'll turn, or you have the ability to make them blue. Feed them more refinement, you'll have the ability to make them purple. More refinement, you'll have the ability to make them legendary or orange. Then you have artifacts, which you can get your first artifact relatively early on, and artifacts themselves can actually go to mythic, which is the next level over legendary, currently the highest in the game. They require one type of refinement. Artifact gear requires another. And then you have enchantments, which are the things that you can socket in your gear. And you have offensive, defensive slots, and utility slots. And then you also have your weapon enchantment and your armor enchantment. All of that requires refinement. Now, the three kinds of refinement in this game. Basically, you have enchantments and refinement point stones. Now, enchantments can be used to refine other enchantments, or they can be used to refine artifacts. Refinement point stones can be used to refine anything, but are worth the most if refined into the specific item that stone is for. Artifact gear can use other gear, or it can use stones like resonant stones or paradots or things like that. We'll talk about the different types of refinement a little bit more in a bit. Let's go ahead and go over how we're going to farm these. Now, at a low level, you can't really do a whole lot, but you can get started. How you're going to get started, three of the most common ways to find refinement are actually through other enchantments. One enchantment that you will notice pretty much right off the bat is called the Dragon's Horde enchantment. Basically what it is when you kill a target, you have a chance of finding a refining stone, and it says on the ground or at your feet, but basically it just automatically goes into your inventory, and the refinement stone that you find is bound to account. So you can't sell it, but you can use it on different characters that you may have. Dragon Hordes are one of the first things that you'll run across. You can make them in the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, which unlocks at level 26, and a few days after doing the campaign, you can craft a lesser Dragon's Horde. You can also buy all of these enchantments off of the Tarmaloon Trade House. Another enchantment to use is the Fey Blessing enchantment. Now, this particular enchantment, while it works the same as a Dragon's Horde enchantment, where when you kill a target, you have a chance to find a enchantment on the ground. Those enchantments are bound to character and go from level 1 to level 5, or rank 5, being the highest enchantment that a Fey Blessing enchantment can drop. You also have a very rare enchantment now, because it hasn't been out in the game for a while, but a Quartermasters Enchantment. The Quartermasters Enchantment works the same way. You have a chance of finding a bag of goods when you kill a target. That bag of goods, when you open it, has a chance of giving you unbound minor resonance stones. It's the only enchantment in the game that you can get unbound refinement from. Now that we covered the enchantments that you can get the refinement from, there's a new thing in Mod 9 where they added mount bonuses. If you go over and you look at the different types of insignia bonuses that you can get, there's actually one that's really, really cool. And that is the Wanderer's Fortune. It takes a crescent, regal, and I believe it's illuminated insignia. And what it is you have a 4% chance after killing a foe to find a refining stone at your feet. Basically, it works the same as a Dragon's Horde enchantment, except it has its separate proc chance from the Dragon Horde. It also seems to proc about 10 to 12% of the time instead of only 4% like the bonus says. Not entirely sure if that's just been my luck or what. But if you need refinement, having a mount that can have that bonus and those insignias is also very helpful. So looking real quick at the refinement that you can get, all of these rank 5 enchantments that say bound to account, those are all from my Will-O-Wisp or Fey Blessing enchantment. Not Will-O-Wisp, but Fey Blessing. If we look over at these enchantments, like Paradots, well, not enchantments, but refining stones, Paradots, Black Opals, Aquamarines, things like that, those are all from my Dragon's Horde enchantments. All these little spoils of war, and the other lesser bags, like looted goods, discarded equipment, and abandoned gear, are all from my Quartermasters enchantment. Now, let's actually take a look at another way to get these refinement items. So, starting out, that's what you're going to be limited to, is actually, basically going through and using enchantments. It's not super hard to get to level 70. Once you get to level 70, then you can have a lot of fun with earning refinement. You're going to have campaigns, which I'm showing you right now. I'm actually in the Dreadring area. There's 3 quests every day that you can do, and once you've completed those quests, you can go ahead and turn in the quest, and you will earn these little Dreadring artifact bags. There's also a weekly quest that gives you refinement. You open them, and you can get bound to character refining stones. I'm going to show you another spot real quick that you can earn refinement from, and that's going to be your dailies in Sharandar. Alright, now that we have arrived in Sharandar, Sharandar is like the Dreadring. However, there are 3 separate areas that you can unlock. Each one you will have 3 quests that you can do, and then turn in the quest once it is completed, and you will receive lesser Thaumaturgic stones. Now, the neat thing is these lesser Thaumaturgic stones that we get here in Sharandar are actually unbound. So you can sell them, trade them, put them on other characters, do whatever you want. You can also use Invocation, and every one of these little celestial bags of refining that you get, the higher the level you get, when you open them, they usually will give you these random, bound refinement points as well. Another thing that you can do, and one of my personal favorites, is to actually go and level up your leadership profession, which is how you get these resonant bags, thaumaturgic bags, and artifact paraphernalia. That's a big part of earning unbound refinement. As you can see, I'm working on that now. However, you have to get your leadership up there and pretty much max it out in order to get that. So those are the basic ways of getting refinement. Let me go ahead and show you these enchantments in use, and one of the spots that I go to actually farm kills and try and get refinement. So this is the area that you all have seen me in, and you all are probably familiar with. This is the Drowned Shore. It's a basic area. It's actually like a level 61 to max 64 area. And I like to come here because the area does not have an area-specific currency. So therefore, your drop table is a little bit higher. A little bit, not much, but a little bit higher for just killing things to earn refinement. You can pick up that green gear and identify it if you wish to, and throw that into your artifacts, but it's not what we're here for. The reason why I'm here and I'm killing things is basically to get my Dragon's Horde enchantment, my Fey Blessing enchantment, Quartermasters Enchantment, and if I was using the Wanderer's Fortune mount bonus, to get those to proc. The really nice thing about the Fey Blessing enchantment, though, is you can notice that we actually have a double enchants and runestones event active, and whenever that event is active, you will normally get double the drops. So if you would normally get 1 rank 5 enchantment, you get 2. But when you're using that Fey Blessing enchantment, if you would get an enchantment, you get 2. So it's actually really nice, and sadly I haven't gotten any refinement yet, because it's not a guaranteed thing. Like, you know, it takes time to earn refinement. But if you're doing all of these things, if you're doing your leadership and you're using the enchantments and you're dungeoning and killing things, you're going to be able to build up refinement pretty quick, especially once you get to 70 and you do your dailies in the Dread Ring and Sharandar, because those are guaranteed refinement. You don't have to rely on a drop chance. I just like to do a little bit extra refinement farming, you could say, whenever possible. There we go. As you can see, 2 rank 5 Azor enchantments, and that was just off of a drop. That actually wasn't even off of one of my enchantments. That was just an enemy drop, so those are unbound. I can go ahead and kill this big old pile of enemies, and probably sometimes I end up with one, sometimes not. The Dragon Hordes don't proc too often. Here we go. There's 2 Radiant rank 5 enchantments. So I've got basically 4 rank 5 enchantments off of that. That means that finding refinement points for your enchantments and for your artifacts is relatively easy. Your artifact gear is actually the hardest to level up and refine, because it requires you to use refinement point stones or resonant stones, and there's really no enchantment that drops you resonant stones. There's also another quick tip that I would like to give you. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time farming these refinement, because you all get the idea that you need to kill things. Like right there's my Dragon Horde giving me an Aquamarine. You can also do heroic encounters in Icewind Dell if you want, because they normally will reward you with Paradots, White Pearls, Aquamarines, sometimes a Flawless Sapphire, but I find just running around doing my dungeons and killing things with the enchantments better. There's one other thing that you can do. Anything that gives you enchantments, companion augmentation packs, companion fortification kits, the little things from leadership, like, let's see over here real quick if I have any of these left, actually. But basically, like Barrel of Goods, you can get enchantments out of it. Anything that you can get enchantments out of, you want to open on a double enchantments event, because you will get twice the amount of loot instead of, you know, the normal 1 enchantment. You get 2. Also running dungeons like Lair of Lostmouth, you know, Temple of the Spiders, anything, Shores of Tauren, anything that has a chance of giving you enchantments. Temple really doesn't. I've gotten an enchantment out of there once, but I think it was just mainly a glitch. Most of the time you want to do Shores or Kessels or Lostmouth, because there's pretty much usually a guaranteed enchantment at the end of the dungeon in the chest, and during a double enchantments event, that enchantment would be doubled, and you would actually get 2 of them. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, make sure that you leave a comment. Otherwise, go ahead, smash the like button, and share the video. It greatly helps out with the searchability of videos here on YouTube. I will be happy to answer any questions, though. This video is valid for pretty much all until they take away the enchantments, which I doubt they would ever do that. I should mention that the Dragon Horde enchantment and the Wanderer's Fortune mount bonus are both capped on the amount of refinement that you can earn each day. but the Fey Blessing enchantment is not capped. You can earn as many rank 5s as whatever percentage drop chance you have for your Fey Blessing enchantment. And of course, multiple copies of those enchantments increase your drop chance. So the more Fey Blessings that you have, the more Dragon Hordes that you have, things like that, the better the drop chance that you will have of actually getting something. Like that little guy I killed gave me a Peridot. That was from my Dragon Horde. So that's worth 500 refinement points for anything. And when I refine a piece of artifact gear, I can put anything that I want into it. Basically, I can put those type of stones in. If I go to refine a runestone, like on my companion, or an enchantment, if I go to refine it, I can only use enchantments and refinement point stones. I can use some refinement items like gear, which is one thing that I didn't mention because you only really find them out of one particular dungeon, but I'll go ahead and tell you about them anyways. You have shattered ancient items like necks, belts, main hands, offhands, things like that. Shattered ancient gear. That shattered ancient gear is specific to Castle Never, the new version of Castle Never in Mod 9, and it's specific to a certain piece. Like, instead of being a refining stone that's only good for, say, artifacts of power, a shattered ancient necklace is worth 6,000 refinement, but it only works for items that are in the neck or cloak slot. It will not give you 6,000 refinement towards a belt or towards a main hand or something like that. So they're its own category of refinement. The general refinement point stones, like your black opals and everything, that you get from the Wanderer's Fortune mount bonus and that you get from Dragon Horde enchantments, those are usable in any piece of gear when you refine it. You can use it in enchantments, artifacts, artifact gear. It doesn't matter. It's worth the same amount of refinement across the board. So do pay attention to your refinement so that you're not wasting refinement. You want to make sure that you use the right type for the piece of gear that you're trying to refine. And if you can, don't do any refining unless it is a double refinement event. If you can't, not a big deal, but that's how you make the most out of your refinement points, is by waiting and holding on to them till a double diamonds event. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This time I'm serious. I will catch you all next time.